So the district purportedly has 30 to 36 million surplus. The state has designated up 2 billion, and the bulk of it goes to districts like West Contra Costa Unified School District that have been historically underfunded because they teach poor kids, even though Chevron's sitting right there. Refineries right there in the middle of our district. Because of Proposition 13, we can't tax them sufficiently. The schools have been strangled to the bone. And now this money is coming in from the state. And 2 years ago, we got a 9% increase, but that was money, 9% that the teachers took a 9% cut in the 90s. When our district was bankrupt and we had a state-appointed supervisor. We're out of that. We paid off the debt with interest, and we got our 9% back. And now it's time for us to get a raise. Oakland and West Contra Costa Unified School District teachers have been the lowest paid in the Bay Area for decades. And now we are offered a 1.7% increase. And that is incompetence.
So who is pushing the 1% increase?
So the United Teachers of Richmond leadership has come up with a 1.7% increase, and that's way too low. And
how do they justify when there's such a large amount of surplus that the district has?
Well, they don't give the teachers any information. We don't know how many students are in the district, how many teachers are in the district, how many Teach for America teachers are in the district, but there's about half of our teachers are first, second, or third year teachers, and many of them, though, are not fully credentialed. About half of them are not fully credentialed. They have temporary and emergency credentials, but they're not tenured. And so with that kind of proportion of teachers on the lowest salary scale,
doesn't that deprofessionalize education when you have so many young teachers like that?
Absolutely. The young teachers are fabulous, but many of them transfer out of the district as soon as they have their credential, their full credential from the state. And unfortunately, our UTR president, Demetrio Gonzalez, has commissioned a study with the district that tells us how low paid we are, as if that was news, and how he can't retain the district can't retain teachers if they're so low paid. And they offer as a solution to collapse our ranges. They want to change the range, they want to change the structure. So the way it's set up now, the more years and experience you have, your salary increases by little increments every year that you teach. And they want to change that. And that absolutely deprofessionalizes the profession. Studies have shown that up to 8 years, from beginning to 8-year experienced teachers have increased in know-how and able to handle the classes and are more effective teachers, and the kids do better on the tests, if that's a measure of success. The more experience they have, up to 8 years, and then it kind of plateaus out a little bit. But the point is that you deprofessionalize, as you said, the profession by changing the structure of pay like that, and by having such a low salary scale and depending so much on temporary teachers, subs. Right now, people with only a BA, they're not even in an intern program, only a BA can become classroom teachers, no experience, no training. That was just proposed to our school board, and they accepted it. And that's
What's the role of Duffy, this new superintendent, in the school board? They accepted this more privatization and charters?
Duffy is only there a year, but Duffy was trained by Eli Broad, who is the charter school king, and has decided he's going to make half the schools in LA charter personally, and has pretty much created that situation. And right now we have 13 charter schools. I think that's 20% of the schools in West Contra Costa Unified School District are now charter. And those are non-union teachers. And those are kids that have been cherry-picked, skimmed, for being easy to teach because they don't have the language issues, the disabilities, They don't have the classroom behavior problems. And so in fact, there's a charter school that is entirely Latino, not a single African American student, teacher, or parent.
Isn't that segregation, resegregation of the schools?
And the school district renewed their contract. Yeah, it's tragic. And they were right on the other side of Nystrom. And what do our kids think when they see right on the other side of the cyclone fence a school full of kids and there's not one kid like them in the student body?
They're building new schools in Richmond. How many schools do you need in Richmond? It seems like the schools that are there need more support, the public schools. Instead, they're building new schools, spending millions of dollars, and using public money, school money, bond money to build new schools when they already have enough schools. What's going on with construction of new schools in Richmond?
Well, there has been a small surge in enrollment, but the issue is that the charters are diverting the money from the local public schools that were so strangled for funds. And now the money's coming in from the state that provides 80% of the funding for the district, or 80, 85. And the money's being diverted to these charter schools that are able to take tax breaks. They're able to make a buck off the kids. And in the meantime, we're teaching the most difficult to educate kids, and the money is trickling into the local public community schools.
Well, at the NEA convention, the NEA said that they're good. They wanted to reform the charter schools and make them better. And in California, the CTA is spending a lot of money trying to reform the charter schools and make them better. Do you really believe that it's possible to make charter schools better, and that should be a policy of the union?
I think the agenda of the people who are backing the charters is to privatize our community, local public school system. It makes me sick. But I think that they couldn't get the vouchers. 3 times Californians voted against spending tax money for private schools with the voucher system, and so they moved to the charter idea. And I think that Californians or anyone in the country is crazy to let go of our precious public school system that educates our kids, or people who are uneducated end up with someone like Trump for president.
And I mean, it seems like the teachers themselves haven't been educated about charters. Do you blame the CTA and the teachers' unions for not educating their members about the role of charters? I mean, Demetrio, there was supposed to be a charter committee in the union. What happened to that? I mean, there seems like a lack of education.
Well, I'm very ferociously pro-union, and there's teachers within UTR who are fighting very hard to educate our fellow teachers. But yeah, CTA is dragging their feet. All they want to do is get the union dues from the teachers and the charters, and that's not working out very well. They're not unionizing those charters. And I think it's 10% of the schools in California are now charter. And our pension fund is being underfunded because these non-union teachers are not paying into it. And our own rights are eroded within the district. It's getting harder and harder to fight to defend our contract. And who suffers? The kids suffer. They have a deprofessionalized workforce. And they have teachers who are there for a couple years and leave. Teach for America, there's almost 500 Teach for America teachers in our district of about 1,550. We're not sure of how many teachers there are in the UTR, but that destabilizes our schools. It makes the experienced teachers have to retrain teachers year after year, and the kids do not deserve to be guinea pigs. These kids deserve qualified, trained, professional teachers.